Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and we are presented by the Hula Bowl. Today I have with me a great kicker. His name is Noel Ruiz. He's out of Georgia State. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Jimmy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously every once in a while, I gotta sit down with the kicker, man. You guys are important. We got to have you guys out there making those crucial kicks. So, love having you on and talking with you, Noel. So, also formerly of North Carolina A&T, you had transferred there. So, why don't you walk me through your story a little bit? Give me like a brief background of you and your history.
So I started kicking about eighth or ninth grade. I played soccer my whole life, so that was just and that's how most kickers start off. And I just kicked one day for our football team because I had some friends saying that they needed one. I was naturally pretty good at it, and it wasn't until about my junior year where our varsity kicker left, and so I decided to kind of try it like full time. And at the time, I wasn't, I was just kind of raw leg power, didn't really know any form. And my kicking coach out of Charlotte, North Carolina, his name's Dan Orner. I started work with him that year, and from that point on, I got improved. And because I didn't really know much about like the kicking scene, I didn't really know how everything worked, like recruiting wise. So, my senior year, I only had like FCS schools really recruiting me. And North Carolina A&T was the place that I really wanted to go to. I loved my visit, and I was just one of the best 3 years of my life. And I learned a lot from my time in North Carolina A&T. My first year or two, I felt like I struggled a little bit, especially in my sophomore year. And but me going through those lows, I think helped me as to where I am now. I would have rather gone through those moments early on in my career because it helped me be able to handle a lot of high pressure situations and how to bounce back from a missed kick or like something rough going on. Pros do it. I think that's what defines a pro kicker, being able to bounce back from a miss really quickly. And my junior year, I decided that I was going to put everything into that off season and make it one of the best seasons I can. And I felt like I did that really, really well. I had a really successful season. And then when I had graduated after that year, and I decided to grad transfer, and Georgia State felt like the right fit. You had Will Lutz that came through here, and the guy before me, Brandon Wright, played with the Jags for a game. He's a free agent right now, and he's kind of bounced around. So it just helped me realize that they produce kickers, and it was just the right fit for me. And right now I'm just trying to follow in that path, that same path, and just want an opportunity to prove myself.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, very successful there at North Carolina A&T. Now at Georgia State. I guess one of the neat things about being there at NC A&T is they had a very explosive offense. I mean, you were kicking a whole bunch of extra points there. Often. I mean, really, just kind of dominating the HBCU circuit. Really, just taking over there for sure. I mean, and then of course, 2020 hits. The pandemic happened, and I don't know if that maybe played into your decision to transfer. But I mean, obviously, 2020 you came over, and started to play there at Georgia State, and also, being first team all conference there in the Sun Belt. So, pretty easy transition going from, the FCS circuit, up to the Sun Belt. So, definitely successful in that regard. So.
Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed that. It did play a part in me wanting to come back. The biggest issue was the lack of games. We had so many games get canceled, and there was so much uncertainty. And Georgia State in general last season, we only played, I think, 9 or 10 games out of like the expected 12, 13 teams that other schools played. We never really rescheduled games that got canceled. And I actually missed a game last year due to COVID. So I really only got to play about 8 or 9 games. So I knew I didn't really have that many attempts. And, um, I feel great that the opportunities that I did get, I just made the most of them. But going into this season, that was also the goal was to end on a high note, have this be my best season. But our offense has just been rolling, and it's a little frustrating. I haven't got many attempts this season, and that's something that's hard. But the team's been winning a lot the last couple weeks. We turned our season around, and I can't really complain about that. So again, just making the most of whatever opportunities come my way.
Sure. So let's kind of talk about you as a kicker and a little bit of your history. Again, as I had mentioned, very solid kicker there at NCANT. Being an FCS All American. But let's also just kind of talk a little bit about maybe what you have done. Have you been a part of any sort of kicking camps? Like, have you gone to anybody to help you maybe either in the off season or like when you first started out as a recruit?
Yeah. So, like I said, my kicking coach Dan Orner, out of Charlotte. He runs. He's not like a ranking camp, but he's like a form guy. He trains actually Washington's kicker right now, Joey Sly, and a couple of other NFL guys and a lot of top college kickers. So I started going to him late in high school and then all throughout college. And another kicking coach that I work with is affiliated with Dan Orner, but his name is Matt Wogan. He played at Oregon a couple years ago, and me and Matt Wogan and Dan, I go to both of them because Matt works for Dan. But those guys have done. I wouldn't be where I am without those guys. They have always had my back, got me through highs and lows, and they just helped me improve. And those are the guys that I have full trust in, and uh, those are really I'm loyal to those guys, and that's pretty much the last 4, 5, 6 years. I've been dedicated to working with them all in the off season. Or any bye weeks I get, I always go to them.
Gotcha. And I guess the next thing I really want to talk about is obviously just like every other player out there on the team, you have to train on a regular basis. So, real quick, do you have a favorite kicking drill that you really enjoy?
Yeah. So before I start off anything, I always do this drill. It's really simple, but it's really, really important. Um, Pretty much you just stand 7 yards away from a pole. I always use like the pole of the uprights, but you don't have to use, they can use any pole. Pretty much all you do is just you line up with the ball and you just want to pluck it right off your foot, like on the sweet spot, and just try to hit the pole. But you want to do it very, very slow. And pretty much the whole point of the drill is to get your contact down, especially when it comes to like the college and the pro level. Your contact is really where you're going to make or break your kicks. And this drill is just something that I always start off kicking no matter what I do. I sometimes even have days where I literally would just thud the ball at the pole like 50 or 75 times, and that'll be like if I have like a quote unquote off day, like that's what I'll treat my off day as. Like at least I'm doing something to get my contact down and improving it. And over the years, I've gotten really consistent with it. But I feel like if as long as I got my contact down, I'm going to do well for that day. So that's just the one drill I always tell everybody to do when they ask me, when the younger guys ask me, like I always tell them like your contact is everything. And so that's just the one drill that I feel like everybody needs to do.
Sure. And also as a member of the football team, you're an athlete. I mean, and sometimes you have to also get in the weight room, which not a lot of people really see. Hey, is there a kicker in here? What is he doing? But what is your attitude and mentality towards the weight room? Like, what are you doing there? Like, what are you trying to? How are you trying to use the weight room in order to better your game?
I think the weight room is extremely important. You definitely need to be able to improve, obviously, like leg speed, leg strength, core. There's a lot of things. Just in general, any position on the field, being in the weight room is going to somehow help you improve what you do on the field. So each year, I always try to get stronger, get more explosive, and just find different types of ways to get better. Like I always want that edge over somebody else. I always want to ideally have the strongest leg or just the smoothest form, and that plays in parts of what I do in the weight room. So with each year, I always try to improve. I would say I've come a long way. When like me coming in as a freshman at A&T, I was very, very skinny. And I did my best to gain weight and to get stronger throughout my years at A&T. It was just I would say the hardest issue I had when I was at A&T is we just simply had a lack of resources. It's not a very wealthy school. So it's nothing really they could do. But a lot of me and a lot of guys there, we just tried our best to work with what we had, and Georgia State has obviously helped also on top of that. It's just more access to more meals and a bigger weight room. So I've been able to put on a lot of weight here at Georgia State, and obviously continue to get stronger. But I think
So
you
what's
have
your weight? What's your weight these days? I'm just curious if you
to.
put
Right
on a
now
lot
I'm
of weight.
90.
Hey,
Uh,
it's worth me asking, right? I mean,
yeah,
you're obviously
look,
not 170, you're 190. So
no, but, I mean, when I came in as a freshman, I was like 160 pounds at A&T. It's
wow,
it's and
well,
with each year, I probably gained like
that's
5 to
good.
10 pounds. But I mean, even then, like when I first came in last year to Georgia State, I was only 170 pounds. So I've been able to, gradually put on really, really good muscle. And, I'm very, fortunate that, I was able to have the proper resources to continue to get stronger and get bigger. And obviously for the next level, I still want to, get to about like the 200 range, or at least 195 range, where I feel like most pro kickers are at.
Sure. So, uh, what about, obviously as a kicker, there are some things that could happen that you don't necessarily, want to see happen. Some of these worst case scenario sorts of things, whether it be the weather or maybe even like having to tackle somebody, which I don't know if you've ever had to deal with that, but
Yeah.
how do you deal with these worst case scenario situations? Do you try your best to prepare for them? Like, how do you adjust yourself? I mean, do you leave time there, like during training, to think about like the basics of things like tackling?
Uh, yeah. So, I mean, as far as like weather and the elements of outside come into play, I think that's where the off season is extremely, extremely important. Like your preparation, I think your preparation will help you dictate how your season's about to go. Because I mean, no matter where you play at, you're gonna have games where you're gonna be in either rainy, wet weather or very harsh wind weather. And as a kicker, you have to know how to play like to your elements. And so in the off season, anytime there's like a day where let's say like the wind's blowing one side, I'm always going to kick into the wind because it's a lot more challenging. And you're able to figure out, if this was happening in a game, how do I adjust? And so just constantly being aware of these things will help. And so that's why I'm a big advocate of kicking in the wind in the off season. If there's ever a day, or if it's raining, have a day where you kick in the rain, so you kind of better prepare yourself. Because this year and last year we've had a couple games where it was really harsh winds, and I wasn't worried or anything at all, because I was so prepared for it that I already knew what to do. I already knew how to adjust, whether it be like where I'm aiming at, or having my holder lean the ball a certain way to cut through the wind, or you just simply how I'm striking the ball into the wind. That way it cuts through the wind, or how it'll fly back. And with tackling, that's just something that we do it a little bit, like when we're on a team. Like we'll have like some tackling circuits, but those are a little bit more like you never know when that's going to happen, and when it does, hope like I've had hit or miss moments where I
Sure.
timed it well, and then some other ones where it didn't go well. So it's just those are a little bit tougher, because it's you have to have somebody with you to kind of really work on that. But
Sure. Well, I mean, you got to make business decisions too. So, I mean, I understand, if you got like some huge dude coming your way, again, business decisions are business decisions. I mean, I get it. So, um, what do you believe has been like your best moment, maybe your best game, best highlight of your career to date? What sticks out as maybe one of those either one of those high pressure moments that we kind of spoke about, or like any like game changing like field goal or something? But tell me about
so my 2019 season at North Carolina A&T, our first game of the season, I had a 52-yard game winner. But what stuck out to me was before that happened, I'd missed 2 field goals,
it.
and being able to bounce back and deliver when the game was on the line was, I feel like a career defining moment. Because after that game, I felt like I just went on like a rampage. I remember going, I think, 18 for 19 from that point on, and that's what kind of helped me solidify having that All American season. And I can just remember the thoughts going through my head after the first and second miss, and being able to hold my composure. And when the 52-yarder came up, just knowing that without a doubt that I was going to make it, like there was just no question I was going to drain that kick. And then just from that point on, it was like I didn't want to be remembered for just that one kick. I wanted to be remembered for being consistent and being reliable. And I felt like I did a pretty good job of that. I'm always in a want to be perfect like any other kicker, but I think that was when I felt like I got a turning point where I really felt like I can do this at the next level. Like what I just did, like I'm so confident that I can do this at the next level.
Great. Well, Noel, let's just take a moment and step kind of outside of the football realm a little bit. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Something interesting, something fun, hobbies, interests, anything that you feel like maybe some people would like to know. Anything fun. So let's talk for just a sec.
Uh, I can't think of like I'll be honest, I'm a pretty boring guy. I'm one of those dudes that just dedicates all their time to football. I always it just for me it's always like I mean when I'm relaxing, I like movies. Just that's just something like I could do like my free time. I like going to the movies or like watching movies at home. Yeah, other than that, like I work out, I train, and that's pretty much just like a one of those like
Right? I get it.
obsessed.
You're totally focused on the goal. And I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
just it's an obsession, but I love it, so it just doesn't really feel draining in any way. So
No,
something I enjoy. It's like literally even the books that I read are literally always with like, and when I have free time, I'll read books on like the mental part of the game, and just always it's like I'm always like searching for like an edge, or whether it comes to workouts, I'm always looking for like something specific with my workouts that's going to give me an edge. So it just feels like it's this like football is kind of like one of those things that I just obsess with, but I enjoy it.
no, I understand. Tell me maybe about your hometown. Tell me maybe about like where you're from. Like if I were to come visit you, like in your hometown, what would we have to go? What would we have to do? Where would we have to go?
So I'm from a small city called Wilson in North Carolina. It's really small. There's really not much to do. So I mean, I remember I couldn't wait to get out when I like graduated, because such a small town that I always envied, going to like a big city and kind of experiencing what that was like. So I remember when I first moved to Atlanta, it was like a big shock because it was so different than little small town, and over here traffic's insane, and there's so much to do. I mean, I like visiting from time to time. We don't really have a lot in Wilson. There's really not much to do. Like whenever if you needed to go shopping or anything, you had to drive like 45 minutes to like the nearest biggest city, like Raleigh, North Carolina, which is the capital. So
Sure.
it was one of those deals. It's improving though.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, hopefully next time you go back, I mean, you can, be like the face of that hometown. So,
Yeah.
if you do get the opportunity at the next level, which I believe you should. I mean, you've been a very consistent kicker, over the years. I mean, obviously, there's got to be some scout out there, some kicker guru that maybe has you like in the back of his pocket. May end up giving you a call at some point. Um, I want you to take a moment and just kind of talk to all those scouts out there and maybe give them the reason why, hey, let's give this Noel Ruiz a shot. So go ahead and address all those scouts if you don't mind.
So yeah, I believe that I deserve a shot at the next level because I've proven I'm consistent, I'm a hard worker, and that in really big time moments, I can come through, I can deliver. And that's something that I feel like sets apart, top kickers from NFL kickers. And week to week, I always see it happen where certain kickers in the league are able to stand out because they always can deliver in these high moments on top of staying consistent. And I feel like I've done a great job of trying to solidify that. And all I need is one opportunity to prove my point, and that's all I need. And all I could ask for is just one opportunity. And I'm very confident in what I do, and it's just because the work I put in, and that's why I feel really good about where I'm at and where I hope to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, like we had already mentioned, being a very consistent guy, a guy that we can count on in those high pressure situations, whether we need that 52-yarder again or not. I mean, we could always count on Noel Ruiz for it. So, appreciate your time, bud. I do wish you best of luck moving forward. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Again, I have with me Noel Ruiz. He's a kicker out of Georgia State. Definitely check him out and give him a chance. Thanks again, bud.
Thank you.